Today we'll learn SWOT analysis. Actually, organizations use this analysis to identify communication barriers and remove them. The term SWOT stands for S for strengths, W for weaknesses, O for opportunities, T for threats. Okay, so organizations use this analysis to identify the strengths and weaknesses of their communication network. Okay, it be formal or informal, and exploit the opportunities to overcome the threats of today's globalized era of cutthroat competition. To develop strategies for improvement of an individual or an organization based on SWOT analysis, we can construct a matrix as shown here. Okay, so parameters are opportunities and threats. Strengths are SO strategies, weaknesses WO strategies. For threats, strengths is ST strategies and weaknesses WT strategies. So we learn that sorry we learn that SO strategies pursue the opportunities that are a good fit to the company's strengths. WO strategies help to overcome weaknesses to pursue opportunities. And ST strategies identify ways in which strengths may be used to overcome threats. And last of all, WT strategies help to establish plans to prevent weaknesses becoming susceptible to threats. Okay, so an organization may use the above strategies to create a harmonious and healthy environment to help individual and organizational goals to be achieved. Okay, now we'll be learning about the perspectives in communication in details. So communication is a two-way process, already we learned, and its success depends upon a cordial and conducive attitude as well as receptivity from all the parties involved. However simple and straightforward it seems to be, the process of communication and its success can be easily affected by many factors. So let's discuss some of the common factors that may affect the effectiveness of communication. Okay, so number one is visual perception. So visual perception can be defined as the ability to see, organize, and interpret one's environment. Okay, depending on their preconceived notation, social status, different people may view and interpret the same thing in different ways. For example, by looking a figure, that is, suppose this is line A, this is line B. Okay, so if you look at the figure, most people may say that line B is longer than line A. However, these lines are exactly the same length. This is visual perception. Okay, next one is language. The process of communication may be affected if the participants have language barriers, such as if they speak and understand different languages or have some kinds of speech difficulties. For the success of the communication process, the sender should ensure that the message reaches the receiver in a language that he or she can understand. Okay? If he or she not understanding, then the communicators will have to get the help of an intermediary to translate and communicate the message to the intended recipient. So the success of the communication in this case depends on the accuracy of the translation or interpretation, which may affect the entire meaning of the communication if it is not done properly. Okay, next point is past experience. The experiences we have had before in some specific situations may also affect the outcome of the communication. Next point is prejudices. So people often have the inclination to hear what they expect to hear rather than the actual message conveyed by the communicator. This tendency may lead to false assumptions and prejudices and jumping to incorrect conclusions. Okay. Next point is feelings or moods. So effective communication depends a lot on the feelings or moods of the communication parties. Okay. Enthusiasm, openness, and a receptive attitude help in making the communication successful. On the other hand, closed mind, preconceived notation, inability to accept new ideas prove to be significant barrier in this process. Okay, and the last one is environmental or physical. So environmental factors, also called physical barriers, that are usually encountered at the beginning of the communication process. So these fact, okay, at the beginning of the communication process. So these factors are generally neutral and require some minor changes to be made in the environment, time and space to make the communication successful. Some examples of environmental factors include noise, okay, seating arrangements, ventilations, and temperature, etc. Okay. Now the last part, that is the session 5, writing skill. So writing can be defined as the way of representing language in visual form. Okay, got it? So it is a creative process in which the author gives expression to his or her thoughts and ideas in a systematic or organized manner. As the writer or author is usually separated in time and space from the audience, the written work must be very clear and precise in conveying its intended meaning. Okay, so writing is a very effective way of communication. Okay, in our day to day life, we need to write many things such as letters, essays, speeches, and applications. Okay, so readers should be able to understand the intended meaning of text, as writing is a tool of communication. Some factors that must be considered while writing are as follows. Number one is grammar for clarity and correctness. Using correct grammar is an essential element in building writing skills. Okay, an article, no matter how informative, will not interest readers if there are grammatical mistakes. We all are familiar with the basics of grammars such as genders, parts of speech, and tenses. So we know that there are three forms of tense: past tense, present tense, and future tense. While writing general articles or essays, we use simple present because it is used to state simple facts. Okay. Next one is vocabulary building. So knowing grammar alone does not solve all the problems related to writing. One should also possess adequate vocabulary to be able to write effectively. If we do not have enough vocabulary, we will have to face difficulty in expressing our ideas in the form of written words. Okay, so there are two kinds of vocabularies. Number one is active vocabulary, number two is passive vocabulary. So active vocabulary refers to the set of words that we know and use frequently while speaking or writing. For example, words such as good, bad, fine, walk, sleep. Okay, therefore these words are part of our vocabulary, active vocabulary. And for passive vocabulary, that refers to the set of words that we know but we do not use them frequently while writing or speaking. For examples, therefore, however, nevertheless. Okay, got it? So active and passive vocabulary is changed from person to person. We should focus always on converting our passive vocabulary into active vocabularies when we can learn and use new words by regular practice. Okay, we can increase our vocabulary by learning new words from books, magazines, or other things we read. Okay, And the last factor is simple spelling rules. In addition to grammatical mistakes, we should also avoid spelling mistakes in our articles. Got it? So now let's discuss some spelling rules which apply to a large number of words. The rules are as follows. If the last consonant in a verb is L, it doubles when the verb is transformed into past. Okay, like travel, like travel, travel. So it will be traveled, traveled, traveled. Okay, when it is in past tense. Okay, like level, level, but when it is in past tense it will be leveled, levelled. Okay, okay, go to the next. Now we will be learning about the phrase. A phrase is a small group of words that forms a meaningful unit within a clause. Phrases form an essential part of English vocabulary and usually help in solving fill in the blanks types of questions. Okay, so there are several different types of phrases. One is noun phrase, okay, which is built around a single noun, like a glass of wine is on the table. Okay, verb phrase, it is the verbal part of the clause. Example, Ram had been living in India. So had been living, okay, is a verb phrase. Verb phrase. Next one is adjective phrase. It is built around an adjective. For example, she worked really hard to get his position. So here really hard is a adjective phrase. Okay, next is adverbial phrase. This is built around an adverb by adding words before or after it. For example, the sick woman recovered very slowly. Here very slowly is the example of adverbial phrase. Okay, so last one is prepositional phrase. It is built using a preposition. For example, I longed to live near the sea. So here near the sea is the example of prepositional phrase. Okay, so the word phrase is also used to refer to a short group of words having a particular meaning when they are used together, such as rain, cats and dogs, play for time, or a square meal. This type of phrase is often referred to as an idiom. Okay, got it? Next is kinds of sentences. So depending upon their formation and number of ideas they intend to convey, sentences are of three types: simple, compound, complex. Okay, so simple sentence contains a subject and a verb and expresses a complete thought. It is also called an independent clause. Suppose the doctor sipped his tea. Okay, next one is compound sentence that contains two independent clauses joined by a conjunction. Conjunctions are almost always preceded by a comma. Okay, so here conjunction is but. Okay, and here are two independent clauses. Here it is and here it is. Okay, next one is complex sentence that contains an independent clause that means a group of words that can stand alone, joined by one or more dependent clause. Okay, example, when he handed in his homework, the instructor smiled. Okay, next is parts of a sentence. A written sentence can be defined as an arrangement of words, okay, that help people to clearly express their ideas in writing. So it must always start with a capital letter and end with a punctuation mark. A sentence typically has a noun called the subject as well as a verb that is called predicate. So subject is the person or thing that performs an action or is the focus of the sentence. Okay, so generally subject comes at the beginning of the sentence, and predicate is the part that contains the action. It is the part of the sentence that is not the subject and includes all the descriptions of the action and the objects that are affected by the action. Okay, example, Joseph is playing football with his friends. So in the preceding example, Joseph is the subject and the rest of the sentence, which is describing the action of Joseph, is the predicate. Okay, next part is parts of speech. So in English language, words are categorized into 8 basic types, which we call parts of speech. The different parts of speech in English language are noun, pronoun, adjective, verb, adverb, preposition, conjunction, interjection. Okay, got it? So first of all, it is noun. Actually, a noun is a part of speech which is used to name a person, place, thing, animal, or abstract idea. Suppose, one example, Akbar was a great king. So in this example, both Akbar and king are nouns. Nouns are of different types. Moreover, they can be belong to more than one type. The different types of nouns are briefly explained as follows. Number 1 is common noun, that specifies the type of the noun that represents a class of person, place, or things. That is, it does not signify the name of a single place, person, or thing. Note that except except at the beginning of a sentence, a common noun does not begin with a capital letter. Consider the following examples. The cat is sleeping on the floor. Okay, so in this example, cat, floor are common nouns. Okay, next one is proper noun. It refers to the name of some particular person or place. It always starts with a capital letter. Okay, and these are also sometimes used as common nouns. Example, Kashmir is called the Switzerland of India. So Kashmir, Switzerland and India are proper nouns. Okay, next one is collective noun, that signifies the type of noun that refers to a group of persons or things, although the noun itself is in the singular form. Example, the committee has reached its decision. So the committee is known as the collective noun. If I give another example, an army of sheep led by a lion would defeat an army of lions led by a sheep. So in the preceding example, army and army is known as the collective noun. Next one is abstract noun. It refers to the noun that cannot be perceived by the 5 physical senses. It pertains to emotion, idea, or quality that has no physical existence. Failure is for example, failure is a stepping stone to success. So failure, success are the example of abstract noun. Next one is countable noun. So it refers to the noun that names countable things, people, etc. It has both singular form and plural form. Like example, we painted the table red and chairs blue. So in this example, table, chairs are known as the countable nouns. And for uncountable noun, it refers to the noun that names uncountable things, like oxygen is essential to human life. So in this example, oxygen is an uncountable noun. Okay, got it? Next one is pronoun. A pronoun is a word that can replace a noun or another pronoun. In other words, a pronoun is a word used instead of a noun. It helps in avoiding repeated use of nouns. Example, tell him to come back soon, or they are waiting for the train. So in this preceding examples, him and they are pronouns. Okay, so there are different forms of pronouns. Okay, pronouns are used in three different forms. They are used as first person pronoun, second person pronoun, and third person pronoun. These three forms of pronouns are explained like that way. Number one is first person. So it refers to the pronouns I and we, which denote the person or persons speaking. Okay, like I am a young boy. So here I is the example of first person. Second person refers to the pronoun you, which denotes the person or persons spoken to. For example, you are very wise. Okay, so you are the second person. And for third person, it refers to the pronouns he, she, and it, and they, which denotes the person or persons spoken of. For example, she is a doctor. Okay, she is a third person. Next one is adjective. An adjective is a word used with a noun to describe the quality, quantity, and nature of the noun that it qualifies. In other words, it adds something to the meaning of a noun. Okay, suppose Rani is a clever girl. Okay, so clever is an example of adjective. Okay, so it has been mentioned that adjectives are used to add something to the meaning of nouns or pronouns. So adjectives can be further divided into different classes. Okay, number one is adjectives of quantity. For example, Ram is an honest man. Okay, so it is an example of quality. Adjectives of quality. Adjective of number, suppose the hand has 5 fingers. So it is the example of adjectives of number. Next one is demonstrative adjectives. Example, these apples are sweet. So it is the example of demonstrative adjectives. And for interrogative adjectives, the example is whose pen is this? What kind of man is he? So all these adjectives here are used, known as the interrogative adjectives. Next one is verb. So a verb is a word that tells about the action or affirms something about a person or a thing. It is the most important part of a sentence. Example, Sachin plays football. He eats mango. So in these examples, the word plays and eats are verbs as they show the action. Note that the verb has an important relation with time. It is though the verb used in a sentence that we can understand sometimes has already happened, is happening now, or will happen in future. Okay, so verb may be of two types, namely transitive verb and intransitive verb. A intransitive verb refers to an action that does not transfer from a doer or a subject to an object. It does not take any direct object in the sentence. Example, the boy laughs loudly. So in this example, the actions denoted by the verbs laughs and laughs do not pass on the object. Okay, so it is the example of intransitive verb. And for transitive verb, it refers to an action that transfers from a doer or a subject to an object. It has two characteristics, namely an action verb and a direct object. For example, Saurabh hits the ball. The boy broke the plate. So, in these preceding examples, hits and broke are action verbs, and ball and plate are the direct objects. The actions represented by the verbs hits and broke are passed over from the doers, Saurabh, doers Saurabh, and the boy to the objects ball and plate respectively. Okay. Next is adverb. So we know an adverb is a word that modifies the meaning of a verb or adjective or another adverb. Example, you run quickly. This is a very sweet apple. This is a very sweet apple. Ramesh reads quite clearly. So in these examples, the words quickly, very and quite are used to modify the verb, adjective and adverb respectively. So they are called adverbs. Okay. So on the basis of their use, adverbs may be of different types. So number one is adverbs of time. So the example, if I tell you, he must now begin to work, is an example of adverbs of time. Next one is adverbs of frequency. I always try to do my best. Okay. Next one is adverbs of place. Go there, come in, he looked up. Okay. Next, adverbs of manner. The boy works hard, she cries loudly, Sachin reads clearly. Examples are for adverbs of manner. Next is adverbs of degree. You are too careless. These apples are almost sweet. They are quite right. So all these examples are of adverbs of degree. And last is adverbs of reason. He therefore left the college. I am hence unable to pay the fees. All the examples are of adverbs of reason. Okay. Next is preposition. So a preposition is a word that shows the relation of nouns, pronouns and phrases with the other words in a sentence. Like there is a fish in the bottle, the boy jumped into the river. So all these are the examples of prepositions. Okay. Next, conjunction. A conjunction is a word that is used to join different parts of a sentences and sometimes words. The common conjunctions are and, but, for, or, nor, yet, so. Okay. Got it? Okay. So Mukesh sings and Nikhil swims. The example, I like tea but my brother likes coffee. So these are the example of conjunction. Okay. Next one is interjection. An interjection is a word that is used to add emotion in a sentence. In other words, it expresses sudden feelings or emotion. It is not grammatically related with any other words in the sentence. An interjection is usually followed by an exclamatory mark. Okay. Some examples of interjections are hi, bravo, cheers, hooray. Okay. For example, hooray, we have won the match. So in this example, the word hooray is an interjection. Okay. Now we will learn about the use of articles. So basically articles are of two types, definite and indefinite. Let's first see the logic behind the usage of articles a and the. So the is the definite article and it is used to specify a specific or particular thing such as the Jammu Tawi Express, the moon, etc. Next, a or an are indefinite articles that are used to refer to non-specific or non-particular nouns such as a cat, a train, an egg. Okay. Also, for example, Tushar wants to buy a motorbike. Here, it can be any motorbike. So, we should use indefinite article a here. Okay. Next is the construction of a paragraph. Okay. A paragraph is a set of sentences focusing upon a single idea or of thought. Train of thought. Ideally, a paragraph should be around 5 to 7 sentences containing the topic sentence, 3 to 5 supporting sentence, and a concluding sentence. There should be exactly one main idea per paragraph, which means you should start a new paragraph whenever you want to introduce a new idea. So, the following elements are essential to good paragraph writing, that are unity, order, coherence, completeness. So, unity means after introducing the main topic of the sentence, each subsequent sentence should elaborate and provide more detail to that topic. Okay. Next one is order. The way sentences are organized in a paragraph is known as its order. For example, you can choose to write your ideas in the order of importance or another logical presentation. Next one is coherence. It implies that every sentence in your paragraph should be logically connected to the sentence that precedes it. Okay. And last of all is completeness. A paragraph is called complete if all the sentences in it are clearly and sufficiently supporting the main idea. Okay. Okay. And here the last part is punctuation marks. Punctuation marks. Already we know about it. So punctuation marks are symbols that help to separate parts of a sentence to make it meaningful. Some punctuation marks are as follows, that one is full stop and another one is comma. So full stop is used to indicate the end of a sentence and comma is used to indicate a pause in the sentence. And again we will have asking mark or question mark. So it is used at the end of the sentence to ask a question. Also we can use exclamation mark, which is used at the end of a sentence or a word to indicate surprise, anger or shock. And the last one is apostrophe. It is used at the end of the word followed by s. It shows that something belongs to someone. Suppose I am writing Sam's book. Okay, so the book belongs to Sam. Okay, now the next term is the next part in the communication is pronunciation. Okay, so pronunciation is important part of any communication. If the pronunciation or the way you speak a word is not correct, then it gets difficult for others to understand what you are saying. So it is necessary to know the correct pronunciation of a word. Otherwise, it will not be possible to communicate your views to others. Okay. And the last part is greetings and introduction. Okay. So when we meet someone for the first time, we use certain sentences to tell them about ourselves. This is called introduction. When we meet the people who are familiar to us, we use greetings before starting the conversation. Okay. So one can greet a person in many different ways. The greeting depends on the person to whom we are talking, time of day of conversation, occasion, etc. For example, if we are meeting someone in the morning, the greetings will be good morning. Whereas if it is evening, the greetings will be good evening. Okay. So the different types of greetings are as follows, like formal greetings, such greetings are used while talking to seniors, elderly people or people with whom we have formal relation. Okay. Good morning, good evening sir, Okay, and informal greetings means such greetings that are used while having conversation with family and friends or the person whom we know very well. Example: hi, hey. Okay, last part of this communication is asking questions. So a question can be considered as a request to get some information. The information can be of any type, like asking about a place, asking for the method to do a task, etc. It helps us to gain more information and avoid doubts and confusion. Okay, so there are two types of questions. One is closed ended questions and open ended question. So for close-ended questions, these questions that can be answered in terms of yes or no, that are no, the questions that can be answered in terms of yes or no are called close-ended questions. For example, are you late for the school? You can say yes or no. And for open-ended questions, such kind of questions cannot be answered by simply saying yes or no. The answers are more than a word. For example, how are you? The answer may be I am fine. Okay, got it?